everyone, and thank you for joining us. My name is Meital Taran-Gatman, and I'm the Principal PM Manager from Microsoft Defender for Cloud. Today, I'm very excited to share with you exciting new capabilities in Defender for Cloud to help your security teams better secure their multi-cloud workloads. We've heard from customers about their top-of-mind needs when working to secure their environments. We know that more organizations than ever are using cloud-native services to develop, deploy, and manage applications. But with these fast iterative cycles from development to runtime, over 54% of enterprises aren't integrating security into their DevOps pipelines. And as organizations adopt digital transformation, security teams are faced with expanding attack surface areas and a lack of posture visibility, with 86% of surveyed security decision makers believing that their cybersecurity strategy doesn't keep up with their multi-cloud environments. And these threats we're facing are only growing in complexity and volume, with the average cost of a breach now reaching over $4 million just last year. In today's threat landscape, we need to adopt a comprehensive security approach to protect from code to cloud. That's why I'm so excited to share the new investments we've made in Defender for Cloud to fully span across the development lifecycle, from the code itself through runtime protection. Defender for Cloud is our centralized, integrated, cloud-native protection solution. It helps your teams enable security from code to cloud, strengthens your security posture, and protects your multi-cloud workloads against complex threats. In this session, we're going to focus on our CSPM and workload protection investments. So what does better cloud security posture mean, and why the existing tools and processes are not enough? Today's security teams are faced with three main problems when working to reduce their risk across their environment. First, how can they gain full and complete visibility of their cloud platform across different clouds and environments in an easy and frictionless manner? Second, when faced with a massive number of issues and misconfigurations, how can teams distinguish which are the real risks exposing them to immediate threats? And finally, how can they act fast and drive accountability in their organization to promptly remediate? Today, Defender for Cloud is announcing Defender CSPM, a set of new capabilities to address these key problems. New agentless scanning capabilities provide full coverage across your environment to quickly identify vulnerabilities. A new intelligent cloud security graph and attack path analysis helps you prioritize your most critical risks based on potential lateral movement paths. And integrated compliance and governance tools to enable your teams to drive compliance and remediations at scale. To share more about these new capabilities, starting with agentless scanning, I'd like to welcome Aviv Moore, Senior Product Manager for Defender for Cloud. Hi, Aviv.
Hi, Meital. Today, Defender for Cloud provides deep visibility and real-time protection for your workloads using agent-based solutions and a market-leading endpoint protection. We know that getting agents completely deployed on your workloads takes time, effort, and cooperation between security and application teams. In a dynamic cloud environment, it often doesn't end up covering all your estate quickly enough, leaving you with blind spots on potential security issues. Our goal is to empower security teams by providing you with greater coverage over workloads and allowing you to identify and remediate security issues early in time. Since coverage is key, we aim to provide you with wide, frictionless, and instant visibility to your compute workloads. Therefore, today we are releasing several agentless vulnerability assessment capabilities. Let's start with VMs. We are excited to announce a new agentless scanning platform. With agentless scanning for VMs, you will get wide visibility on installed software and software CVEs. It works by continuously analyzing disk snapshots on your VMs without interfering with the runtime instances. Now, you can get a reliable vulnerability assessment without the hard requirement for a running agent, network connectivity, and with zero performance impact on your workloads. The analysis is powered by Microsoft Defender Vulnerability Management, so we'll get results in a unified view, whether your machines are already managed by Defender for Endpoint or not. Agentless scanning for VMs releases today with native support for AWS and Azure VMs. Since no single approach is perfect, Defender for Cloud combines the breadth and depth of agentless and agent-based approaches. Agentless scanning provides you instant visibility over critical posture issues, while real-time protection agents complement it and go deeper and provide advanced detection, investigation, and response capabilities. Both are now seamlessly integrated and combined under the same platform. Let's see how agentless scanning for VMs works. It supports Azure and AWS, so I will demonstrate it on one of my connected AWS accounts. In this account, I have not installed any security agents, and I have no visibility over my EC2 workloads. I will go ahead and open the settings for the connector I created in Defender for Cloud. Open the configuration and enable the new agentless scanning feature. Typically, we'll continue the wizard and update the CloudFormation template on my AWS account, but we've already done this beforehand, so I will skip this part for the demo. Shortly after agentless scanning is enabled, we can start seeing software inventories and weaknesses. Let's start with software inventory. If we open the help blade for one of my instances, we can see how Defender for Cloud shows us which software and versions are installed on this machine. This allows me to later search at scale on specific software in my environment, now for machines without an agent as well. Now let's see which vulnerabilities were detected on my instances. We will go to our new vulnerability assessment recommendation for EC2 instances, and here we can see multiple high-severity issues. Opening one of them, we can see the same interface and experience we already have in Defender for Cloud, just without an agent installed. Microsoft Defender Vulnerability Management is already integrated with Defender for Cloud for agent-based vulnerability assessment, and now, supporting agentless scans too, it provides the same vulnerabilities coverage and level of detail as before. You can now review detected vulnerabilities using the portal or any of the at-scale options we provide. For example, Azure Resource Graph or continuous export. Agentless vulnerability scanning is available in both Defender CSPM and Defender for Servers P2. Also, starting today for Defender for Servers P2 customers, you can now access new advanced capabilities like vulnerable application blocking, advanced OS baselines, certificate discovery, and more. To learn more on Defender Vulnerability Management, go to aka.ms/MDVM. Moving over to containers. Building on our recent release of advanced threat protection and Kubernetes environment hardening for AWS and GCP, we've continued expanding our coverage for multi-cloud, and today we are announcing agentless vulnerability assessment scanning for your ECR images in AWS. This new capability helps reduce the attack surface for your Kubernetes estate in AWS by continuously scanning images to identify and manage container vulnerabilities. With this new release, we are also introducing significant improvement to our scanning interval, moving to a 6 hours rescan cadence and scanning of new images within 1 hour. The findings are available in Microsoft Defender for Cloud as recommendations, and customers can use Defender for Cloud built-in automated workflows to take different actions, such as opening a ticket for fixing a high-severity vulnerability in an image. Once Defender for Cloud AWS connector discovers all your ECR repositories within an account, the solution is automatically deployed to the customer account, and the agentless model further minimizes the operational friction. It is important to note that no images are transferred out of the customer account as part of the scan process. Let's see how it works. Similarly to agentless scanning for VMs, we'll enable agentless ECR vulnerability scanning in the connector settings. For our demo, we've already enabled it in advance. I'll start by viewing my ECR repositories in AWS console. We can see my AWS account has 8 private ECR repositories with container images. Switching back to Defender for Cloud, let's view the scan status and the result for these 8 repositories. We'll open the dedicated recommendation for ECR vulnerability assessment, and now we can see the detected vulnerabilities in my ECR images. We can also view vulnerabilities per repository by looking at the affected resources section. Out of my 8 repositories, 5 are marked as unhealthy. The remaining ones are healthy and do not contain vulnerabilities. We can also drill into a specific vulnerability and see a lot of additional information, including package details and a remediation section for a step-by-step guidance on how to remediate it. Lastly, we can pivot on a single image. This will show me all the CVEs for this image, as well as additional details, such as the package that includes the fix and the fixed version. To conclude, agentless scanning for VMs, an extension of the multi-cloud support for containers, are major leaps in getting posture visibility quickly and in a frictionless way. And with that, it's back to you, Meital.
Thanks, Aviv. It's so cool to see the new multi-cloud coverage and the immediate and frictionless visibility provided by all the new agentless scanning tools for the different workloads. Now, once you have visibility across all your assets, teams need to leverage relevant threats and business context to prioritize what to focus on. To share more about the new intelligent capabilities to help customers do just that, I'd like to invite Tal Rossler, Senior Product Manager for Defender for Cloud. Hi, Tal.
Thanks, Meital. Today, Defender for Cloud have a great solution for cloud security posture management. We detect very well all vulnerabilities and all cloud misconfiguration in your environment and provide you with a list of actionable security issues to resolve. One of the biggest challenges we hear from customers today is the fatigue of security issues. Security teams today have thousands of issues to resolve and just don't have enough resources to address them all. They must work smarter than ever and resolve the riskiest issues first in order to avoid being breached. To identify and prioritize the highest risks, I am happy to announce today about the new Cloud Security Graph and Attack Path Analysis capabilities. The Cloud Security Graph is a new graph-based context engine in Defender for Cloud. It collects data about your multi-cloud environment from numerous amounts of data sources, such as the cloud assets inventory, connection between resources, exposure to internet, permissions, vulnerabilities, and much, much more. Then, it models this data as a graph of interconnected cloud assets. Using our new attack path analysis capabilities, Defender for Cloud scans this graph and detects exploitable paths attackers can use in order to breach your environment. It helps you mitigate them and prevent future breach. Now let's take an example to better understand how it works. Imagine that your security team is on a critical mission to patch an emerging vulnerability which is exploited by attackers. Until today, when entering Defender for Cloud, they would get a list of thousands of infected machines and need to chase one by one to reduce risk. But what if we could tell you that from all these thousands of machines, only dozens are actually exposed to the internet, and that only few are also allowing lateral movements to critical assets? You would immediately patch these few and reduce the risk of compromise dramatically. This is what Attack Path Analysis is helping you to do. In addition, we are also announcing today the Cloud Security Explorer. The Cloud Security Explorer allows you to customize your findings and query the multi-cloud graph with your own custom queries. Now let's see all of this in action. Let's start by going to recommendations and review the list of security issues detected by Defender for Cloud in my environment. I can see that Defender for Cloud found 1,000 resources with security issues, but only a small fraction of them are actually part of attack paths that attackers can exploit. I want to focus on those to review and immediately take action to resolve them. Defender for Cloud found several interesting attack paths in my environment. Around Azure VMs and AWS VMs, we found vulnerable and exposed instances allowing lateral movement. Around Kubernetes containers, we found vulnerable running images with access to the host network. And around data stores, we found SQL servers with weak user accounts and critical vulnerabilities. Now, let's examine one of the attack paths to see how it works. In this attack path, Defender for Cloud found a virtual machine which is vulnerable to remote code execution. In addition, the machine is exposed directly to the internet and even has permissions to access a key vault. This severe combination of issues allows an attacker to exploit the vulnerability and move laterally in my environment. And as a result, Defender for Cloud suggesting me to resolve the vulnerability immediately before resolving others. To remediate, I will go to recommendations and take action on the Defender for Cloud recommendations for this attack path. To summarize, using attack path analysis, Defender for Cloud identifies the riskiest security issues in your environment and help you to resolve them fast to prevent future breaches. Now let's go back to the main page of Defender for Cloud and go to the Cloud Security Explorer. The Cloud Security Explorer allows you to customize Defender for Cloud findings and run custom queries on top of our graph. You can start by building a query from scratch or by adjusting one of the predefined templates. Now let's build the query together. Using the first template, I will query for all machines in my environment which have high severity vulnerabilities and also exposed to the internet. I see a long list of machines. To narrow it down, I can adjust the query further by query only for specific CVEs or only for machines tagged as production. Now I will continue the search and adjust the query to look only for vulnerable exposed machines which are also allowing lateral movement to a key vault. I can see that I now got only one result. I can click on it to see all details and drill further to remediate the vulnerability. To summarize, the Cloud Security Explorer helps you to query the graph for your own custom findings to meet your organization's specific needs. Now, after finding the riskiest issues, it's time to remediate. In order to allow security admins to derive remediation at scale across your organization, we are also announcing today a new set of governance capabilities. To date, security admins could assign owners to security issues, set required remediation due dates, automatically send reminders to owners, and escalate to the manager if needed. Security admins can now centrally manage governance and derive remediation at scale across the entire organization at once. With that, I'll pass it back to you, Meital.
Thanks, Tal. This is amazing. With all these new capabilities, Defender for Cloud brings a comprehensive solution that actually helps customers reduce risk easier and faster. Now let's talk about compliance, which we all know is also a critical part of a strong cloud security posture. And so we're excited to announce the public preview of new regulatory compliance features in Defender for Cloud, so customers can easily take charge of their compliance posture and navigate evolving regulatory demands. Starting today, with the new compliance offerings, customers can track certifications achieved by Azure, Dynamics 365, and Power Platform services. For example, partners and customers can now easily check which Microsoft services have HIPAA, ISO, FedRAMP, or any other certification prior to building their solution on top of our platform. As a reminder, Microsoft is the cloud provider with the largest number of certifications in the industry. We're also announcing the new controls panel. We know how challenging it is to navigate complex compliance certification requirements for your services. Starting today, the new controls panel will allow you to easily assess service compliance status and check which policies you should implement to achieve a certification. And finally, we're excited to announce the Microsoft Cloud Security Benchmark. Building off of the Azure Security Benchmark and the insights of Microsoft Threat Intelligence and industry-leading researchers, this multi-cloud benchmark moves beyond generalized compliance frameworks. Controls are mapped to major industry benchmarks, such as CIS, PCI, NIST, and more. And cloud-specific implementation tools are turned on by default to meet requirements in each cloud. Leverage Microsoft Cloud Security best practices and monitor your cloud security compliance posture per cloud in a single, integrated dashboard. I hope you are excited as we are to learn about Defender for Cloud's new CSPM capabilities. From attack path analysis and Graph Explorer built on the new Cloud Security Graph, to the new integrated governance tools to remediate at scale, to the exciting cloud security compliance capabilities, which are all available now for you to use for free during public preview as part of Defender CSPM. For immediate access to vulnerabilities and attack paths in your cloud environment, just go to Defender for Cloud portal and enable the new Defender CSPM plan with a single click. Agentless scanning capabilities are already built into our Defender for Servers and Defender for Containers plans, so for all our customers, you already have access now. To learn about all the new Ignite announcements from Defender for Cloud, check out our Defender for Cloud post on the Microsoft Security blog and watch the Cloud Security Breakout and the DevOps On Demand sessions. And with that, thank you for being here with us today, and we look forward to seeing you again soon. Goodbye, everyone.